Poker2Nite is brought to you by UB.net. Hello and welcome back to Poker2Nite. Scott Huff, and here with me is Joe Sebok. Every year, Bluff and Card Player magazines track tournament results from around the world and award points to top performers based on factors like buy-in and field size for an entire year. Right now, we're happy to be joined in studio by the winner of one of those awards. He's 27 years old with over $2 million in lifetime tournament winnings, and he won $1.5 million of that just this year. Player of the Year, Eric Basebaldy Baldwin. Thanks for being on here, Eric.
Thanks a lot for having me, guys.
I can't even call you Eric. Just Baldy. That's just, the name that comes to mind.
Well, obviously, a lot of good days this year for you, winning Player of the Year. Congratulations, obviously, on that. Now, just what goes into winning a Player of the Year? Obviously, you have to play well, but how much do you think was you playing really well, and how much do you credit to luck?
I think that's one of the things that's cool about winning a Player of the Year award as opposed to a single tournament is it takes an entire year. I mean, there's guys that won 2 huge tournaments that I was able to outlast. So I think it obviously takes both. I mean, obviously I ran above expectation this year, and but you have to play well and have luck on your side.
Sure. I mean, how important is it to sort of scoop that Player of the Year? Because I remember reading a couple of things how you were going to fly back to the East Coast if it was needed to get those points. So it seemed like it was pretty important to you.
Oh, it's always been a goal of mine since I started playing poker, and it's just an incredible honor. I mean, to be like on the list of players that have won that, like Daniel Negreanu and the grinder Mizrachi and Menwen, and it's just an amazing honor. It's going to be something nobody can ever take away from me, and hopefully my grandkids will think I'm a little bit cooler than I really am.
Now, when did you start to really taste it? I mean, there has to be a point in the season where you realize I can actually go after this thing. When was that for you?
I had a week at the World Series of Poker where I won an event, won my first bracelet, and then a week later I took a 3rd place, and that put me in the top 2, and I said, hey, I've got a shot to really win this thing. So from there, I looked at the rest of the year's schedule and kind of mapped it out to optimize my chances of winning. And along the way, I had some more success, and the excitement built, and it was just so much fun chasing that goal.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the World Series win, and you start to realize that you're gaining some momentum, does your play change at all in that? I mean, you said you mapped it out. That's really going after it, but does the play change also along with that?
No, really, until the very end, you're just trying to accumulate as many points as possible. And the way to do that is to play your best and try and win every individual tournament. I mean, I tried my best to not look at what the people behind me were doing, because that's not going to help me play my hands better.
Sure, of course.
Tried to focus on the stuff that I could control, and I was just, what cards do I have? What is the situation? And just tried to play my best every day and hope the results work themselves out.
And so is there much strategy change in that situation? I know you said that, you just want to play your best, but to win a tournament might be a little bit different than to try to make the final table or just try to go deep. Does any of that come into play?
Coming into the last month, I didn't think about anything other than just winning tournaments, because I knew I needed to accumulate more and more points. In the last month, there was a couple interesting situations where Cornell Simpan was right on my heels, and all he needed to do was make like a preliminary event final table to pass me. So then when I approached a final table, you don't really want to take a coin flip to go out 10th when you can slide to that final table and put him out of reach where he needs to have a huge score as opposed to a preliminary event. So I guess towards the end, a little bit of strategy came into play there.
Now, of course, we keep talking about the Player of the Year over and over again. That's kind of, the big happening of the moment. But other than just playing a lot and being focused, what do you think that you bring to the table in poker? What are some of your strengths when you sit down across those other gentlemen?
I think I'm a good judge of people, and just accepting the situation for what it is. Had a psychology major from University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, so I've always been interested in people and why they do the things they do. But I think a huge thing is just being able to adapt to any situation, accept it for what it is. You see a lot of online players come into live tournaments and they keep trying to bluff people that are just going to call them down and just get aggravated that things aren't going their way. I think I have the ability to just say, this is what it is. I can't really bluff anyone here, so I have to sit here and play ABC poker. But if that's what the situation calls for, that's the optimal strategy, that's what you need to do. And I think I've got a good ability to play whatever style I need to.
Sure, more just reading the situation.
Yeah, accurately reading the situation, assessing what strategy is optimal against that, and then performing that.
Do you think adaptability will be the key to longevity for you as well? Because you certainly see people who come in. You mentioned the grinder, and I don't want to throw the guy under the bus, but he's a guy who came in, kind of took the poker world by storm, and we haven't heard as much from him since then, because it feels like maybe people adapted to his style. Do you think you'll be able to adapt to continue to grow in the game?
Adaptability is just huge in poker. You see it all over the place. People have a big year, and then they quit trying to get better. They think they know it all, and the game passes them by. I mean, the game evolves so much that you have to stay on top of it and continue trying to learn, because if you don't, you're going to be looking for someone to stake you and be like a has-been.
We're right around the corner from the new year. Obviously, everyone goes back to zero at at the beginning of next season.
Thank God.
There have been repeat Player of the Year winners. I mean, Men the Masters won it a couple times. It's happened, and other people have come very close. Starting from zero, do you feel like it's something you're going to chase again next year? Or are you happy with one right now?
I'm not going to set myself up with those kind of expectations again. I'm just going to try and play my best the start of the year, maybe take a little more time off. I was spending every day basically either traveling or playing. So I'm going to play through the World Series of Poker and assess where I'm at that point. If I feel like I've got a good shot at defending the title, it's just too much fun to go after, and I'll definitely make a run at it again.
Well, best of luck to you in the future. Congratulations, and thanks so much for being here.
Thank you guys very much.
Thanks, Baldwin.
All right, Eric Basebaldy Baldwin. Well, Eric Baldwin's not the only one to take down a Player of the Year title this year.
That's right. Bluff Magazine has a Player of the Year as well, with criteria that are slightly different, which of course generally leads to a different winner.
While Eric Baldwin finished runner-up in the Bluff Player of the Year race, the #1 spot went to another young phenom, Jason Mercier. He's amassed almost $4 million in tournament earnings. He had 4 cashes at the World Series of Poker and 1 bracelet, a 4th place finish at the WSOP Europe main event, and too many other cashes to mention. But here it is in a nutshell. $1.4 million in tournament winnings this year. Your 2009 Bluff Magazine Player of the Year, Jason Mercier. Still to come on Poker Tonight, Sebok and I see no evil as we go all in blind on some of today's hottest topics. And speaking of evil, Dana Workman will leave some folks wishing they hadn't made the news this week in the weekly misdeal. Poker Tonight, back after this.
How would you like a free seat, all your travel expenses paid, and the chance to hang out with me at the 2010 World Series of Poker main event? It's the Poker2Nite Pro Challenge, and it's totally free. UB.net is giving away 2 packages every week. If you win, you will also be coached by me or Annie Duke. But honestly, why wouldn't you want me, Phil Hellmuth? To be eligible, just head over to UB.net and sign up using the bonus code Poker2Nite. The Poker2Nite Pro Challenge, brought to you by UB.net.